You are now listening to The Dugout. Good morning and welcome to the first edition of The Dugout. I'm your host, Marshall Bullock. You can follow me at Twitter at MarshallAllenB2. And I'm joined by my co-host, Josh Ortega. You can also follow him on Twitter at Brotega28. How's it going today, Josh? Are you excited to get this podcast started?
I am. It's going to be pretty exciting. Kind of mad about who won the NL West division, but, what can you do when they got a good roster the way they do with a top-notch manager?
Yeah, Dave Roberts has got them playing some pretty good ball. I mean, 106 wins in a season. That's pretty remarkable. Today on The Dugout, we are going to be discussing a brief overview of the NL West this season, the Dodgers in the playoffs, and what we see in the future for each of the 5 NL West teams. Why don't you get us started, Josh?
All right, so let's start it off with the Los Angeles Dodgers, finishing the season with 106 wins and 56 losses, capping off their 7th straight division title here. Of course, with their pitching being somewhat average, I'd say not as good as other teams in the playoffs right now. Probably one of their biggest key assets is Cody Bellinger. Of course, their potential MVP candidate, of course, leading the team in all categories, batting average, home runs, and RBIs. Where do you think the Dodgers end up with this playoffs? And what do you think Bellinger is their key asset that they have to look forward to?
Oh, for sure. Bellinger has just been absolutely insane this year. Like you mentioned, he leads the entire team in pretty much almost every batting category. He's got 47 home runs. He's got a 305 batting average, 115 RBIs. His wins above replacement, which is one of the biggest stats in baseball, is a 9, and that's absolutely insane and unheard of. Now, the Dodgers going forward, Josh, you've already said that they've won 7 straight NL West pennants. They've been to the World Series 2 times, possibly 3 times in a row this season. Do you see them continuing their dominance not only in the NL West but in baseball?
I think so, especially with a manager such as Dave Roberts. He's got the knowledge of not only what it takes to be a great ball player, but what it takes to compete in October. And, with every season that's passed, not only have their veteran players gotten better and they've gotten the playoff experience, their rookies have gotten a taste of it. And so I think going forward, their farm system might not be the best compared to other teams, but these guys are definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with in 2020. Next on our list is one of your teams, the Arizona Diamondbacks, which finished the 2019 season 85-77 to finish second place in the NL West. How do you look back on their season with the transactions they've made and all the acquisitions they've had? What kind of season do you think they had, and what do you look forward to in 2020?
Man, it's definitely a very successful season. A lot of people counted the Diamondbacks out before spring training even started. Like you said, 85-77. They weren't even expected to be within 10 games of 500. Trading Paul Goldschmidt, Pollock, Corbin, getting rid of Zach Greinke halfway through the season, a little more than halfway through the season, are all things that you would think would hurt them. It didn't. They got better. Ketel Marte was an absolute beast this year. His WAR was 6.9. He had 97 runs, 92 RBIs, 32 home runs. Escobar right behind him. He killed it this year. Both of them definitely worthy of All-Star. We all know that Marte did get it. So Diamondbacks are in good shape. They got a lot of young pitching, like you said, through the trades. They'll be good. They'll be all right. Next up, we got the Giants. You as a Padres fan, Josh, probably pretty close with Bruce Bochy and watching him over the years. This is his last year. He had 3 World Series rings with the Giants. He won over 6 NL West pennants, 4 NL pennants overall. Coached from 95 to 2019 this year. And with the Giants, throughout the year, how do you feel they did with it being his last year? And are you kind of sad to see him go?
It really is sad to see such a great manager go. I remember watching him in San Diego for so many years. He just had this way with players. He knew how to communicate with them, and he knew how to utilize his assets that he had on the bench and in the field. I think this season really was – it was lackluster for what Giants fans are used to, but, it's kind of a sad way to round out his career in the Bay Area, but – I think in reality he's done a lot for the Giants, bringing them 3 World Series, and it's there's not really much else you can ask for from a manager than that. So, 3rd place in the NL West isn't that great, but it's more about celebrating the end of an era and looking forward to what they have next season.
Okay, yeah, I would agree with that. Definitely, Giants, man, last 2 years have been rough for their fans. I mean, you're coming off of seasons, a 6-year span where they won three World Series. That team's kind of just dying off. They're all getting old. They don't even have a farm system within the top 15 in the MLB. It's going to be a couple rough more years for the Giants. They're losing their coach, like you said. They're going to be losing some players here. I don't know where the Giants go from here, but I don't think they're going to be competing in the NL West for a minute.
Next on our list is the Colorado Rockies, who finished 4th place in the NL West with a 71-91 record, which was, forgive my math, what's that, 20 games under 500?
Yep.
How do you think their season went, with their manager, Bud Black, over there, also being a former Padres manager? How do you think their season went, and what do you think they have to look forward to in 2020?
Well, definitely the Rockies, a lot of their fans going into this year thinking they could possibly compete with the Dodgers to get up there. They've made the playoffs last 2 years in a row, hoping for a 3rd year in a row. Didn't happen. Started off 3-12. Pretty bad start. They got back up to 500, 6 games over 500 until July 5th and 7th when the Diamondbacks swept them, and they never got back over 500. Just horrible end of the year for them. They do have a lot to look forward, though. They've got Arenado, they've got Blackmon, they got Story. They play in Coors Field, though, and we hear it every year. It's a hitter's ballpark. They didn't do too bad at home this year, 43-38. So they can definitely improve on the road where they only won 28 games. Their pitching's a problem, man. They got to fix that. Offense, definitely not the problem, but pitching, you can't do it. You can't give up that many runs in a season. All right, Josh, I know this isn't going to be fun to talk about, but we got the Padres at the bottom. Finished the season 70-92. A lot of people thought they were going to be competing with that Manny Machado deal. What's it like to be a Padres fan right now? Do you see potential in this team going forward? They do have the best farm system. Just give me your comments on the Padres, and we'll round it out.
Yeah, that Manny Machado deal. It was something nice to see A.J. Preller go and compete with a lot of the big ball clubs out there. 10 years, $300 million, but you got to produce. You got to produce the stats, the hits, the home runs, the wins, and they just didn't have it this year. I mean, there was some bright spots with someone like Hunter Renfroe, going out there and swinging 33 home runs. Eric Hosmer providing 99 RBIs, but still, there's the offense. The offense is there. I think it's mainly the pitching that they have to worry about. We have a lot of rookie pitchers, not really much experience, with a lot of these guys coming up from the farm system. It's really going to rely on us bringing in, that one key ace that we have that can, toe the rubber once every 5 days and, show these rookies what it means to pitch in a major league game.
Yeah, definitely not what the Padres were looking for this year. Hopefully they can get back on track next. NL West as a whole, do you see them moving in the right direction, Josh?
Yes, I do. From my time as a kid watching the NL West be the laughingstock of the league to now being, the powerhouse that it's becoming, I think we have what it takes to compete with, the teams in the AL East, and just the AL in general. And the rest of the National League. So, yeah, I think it's something to look forward to.
Well said, Josh. Well, everybody, that is going to do it for us today. That is a wrap on the first podcast of The Dugout. On behalf of myself and Josh, we wish our listeners a great rest of the day. We hope you enjoyed the first podcast and many more to come in the series. This is your host, Marshall Bullock, signing off.
So long, everybody.
You are now leaving the dugout.